it without light? I don't need this one now. Oh.
This one, turn off this one.
Oh, you want me to put that bulb in?
No, this one, no need.
I thought, oh, no need for it. Oh, okay.
Okay. Good morning once again. Let us begin with our Metta recital. May all beings be happy and secure. May all beings have happy minds. Whatever living beings there may be, without exception, weak or strong, long, large, medium, short, subtle or gross, visible or invisible, living near or far, born or coming to birth. May all beings have happy minds. Let no one deceive another, nor despise anyone anywhere, neither from anger nor ill will should anyone wish harm to another. As a mother wishes her own life to protect her only child, even so towards all living beings, one should cultivate a boundless heart. One should cultivate over the world a heart of boundless loving friendliness, above, below, and all around, unobstructed, without hatred or resentment, whether standing, walking, sitting, lying down, or in other way. One should develop this mindfulness. This is called divinely living here, not falling into erroneous views, but virtuous and endowed with vision, removing desire for sensual pleasures. One comes never again to birth in the womb. Now we may turn off the light.
Can turn off the light.
As we mentioned yesterday, with this Metta at the background of our mind, let us take few deep breaths to notice the sensation of breathing that we may feel either at the tip of the nose or nostrils or upper lips. Wherever you notice the touch of breath, focus your mind there and notice inhaling as inhaling, exhaling as exhaling. Both inhaling and exhaling you feel at the place where you notice the breath touching. Don't let the mind wander to the past or to the future. Keep it focused on the point where you feel the breath. As you breathe in and out, you notice the breath naturally is gross and it slowly becomes subtler and subtler and subtler. When everything here is quiet, we don't hear much noise. The temperature reasonably is comfortable. With all this, you may notice that you may feel sleepy. That also is very natural. There was nothing to agitate you, excite you here. Everything is quiet and peaceful. These are the conditions that make you sleepy. But no matter how long we sleep, even though sleepiness is very sweet, welcoming, comfortable feeling, but no matter how long we sleep, we won't get up with new insight, wisdom. Therefore, don't try to welcome sleepiness. Let it go. If, as I mentioned yesterday, if you visualize bright light, you can overcome sleepiness. And then, when you have overcome sleepiness, the opposite of this can happen. That is restlessness and worry. If we remember unfinished job or traumatic experience, the mind goes to the past. Or if you plan the future, mind goes there. So don't let mind vacillate between the past and the future. Focus it on the place where you feel the touch of breath. If this doesn't happen very easily, sometimes you may have agitation, upset, irritation. That is the sign of anger. We have to overcome that by recalling the metta thoughts that we tried to develop at the beginning. We can overcome resentment, anger, irritation by cultivating metta, relaxing the body and mind, being gentle and kind, without being very upset. You gain the degree of quietness. Sometimes the quietness also can be enticing. It can become an object of temptation, desire. We have to overcome desire by understanding the nature of impermanence of everything. No matter how pleasant and beautiful, enticing the experience is, it is impermanent. Nothing can you find in the entire universe that is permanent. When we see this true nature of desire, it gradually fades away. And then you may have doubt about the Buddha, doubt in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, doubt about your own ability to achieve the goal. We have to instill confidence in us by having full trust and faith in the Buddha who has attained full enlightenment. By following mindfulness practice, he attained enlightenment, and then he introduced it to the world and said that it was not the Buddha's prerogative. Anybody can achieve the same state if they follow the same steps as he did. Therefore, Buddha did not keep anything as teacher's secret. With open fist, open hand, he declared to the world the truth, and we must have full confidence in the Buddha. If we follow his footsteps as he advised us to follow, we too can attain the same state. So we can have trust and confidence in the Buddha, the method he introduced, and if we follow that, we too can attain that state. So we can have confidence in ourselves. Having overcome these 5 hindrances, we call them technically 5 hindrances. Whether we use these technical terms or not, these are the very natural, normal mental state you experience when you try to gain some concentration. Whether you know these terms or not, you experience them. What we recommend is the remedy, the way to overcome them. Those are the things that we do not know very clearly. In order to overcome anger, we have to cultivate impermanence, so impurities, cultivate metta. In order to overcome greed, we have to cultivate impurities of body and impermanent nature. In order to overcome sleepiness and drowsiness, we must visualize bright light. In order to overcome restlessness and worry, we have to have a settled, focused mind in the present moment. In this course, I put the mention, focus mind in the present, not spatial present, but temporary present. Present moment, and in order to overcome doubt, we have to have a trust and faith in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. Once they are out of our way, then body becomes relaxed, mind becomes relaxed, breath becomes relaxed, calm and peaceful, with the background of metta, combination with calm and peaceful state of mind, we gain concentration. We have to be skillful and wise to navigate ourselves in this way towards concentration. Once we gain concentration, we begin to see things exactly as they are. As the Buddha mentioned, Samahitam Chittam Yatha Bhutam Pajanati. Concentrated mind sees things as they are. Things as they are is not very clear to many people. Things means the body, feeling, perception, thought, and consciousness. These are the things, these are all we have to focus our mind on. And that is how we gain deeper insight into ourselves, into our personality, into our person. It is not understanding ourselves that we suffer. We want to get rid of our suffering by true understanding ourselves. With these few words of instructions, I remain silent and we all practice meditation for the next few minutes. tidhanam apanyassa panyānati dhāyato yam hidhanajya panyāca se nibbāna santike. Would you like it? Friends, I want to continue my Dhamma talk on Metta. There are numerous things to know about Metta, but I like to bring some of them out, for we have to have some deeper understanding of Metta. Metta is the foundation for the development of jhana and vipassana both. So first of all, we have to remember, Metta is not something that we practice casually, occasionally, but it is the foundation of jhana, or concentration meditation, and insight meditation. And there are 8 progressive steps of practicing Metta. I think if you remember these steps, you will not get confused. First is repeat it. It is called asevana in Pali, repeat. Only when you repeat something again and again and again and again, on the one hand you remember it, on the other hand you deepen your understanding. You remember when you read a book 10 years ago and read it now, you will get more information. You will see something deeper. It is the same way when you practice meditation. When you practice once, you have some superficial understanding. Twice, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, morning, noon, evening. The more you practice, deeper will be your understanding, deeper your insight, new information new things you will learn. Therefore, repetition is important, and that is why the Buddha, if you read Buddhist discourses, it is tediously repetitive. People might wonder why the Buddha repeated the same thing again and again and again and again. Because Buddha wanted us to know the truth, and he wanted to drive it into our mind. Repeat it. There are many other reasons for repeating. I don't want to go into that area, but repetition is a very important thing. Metta practice is repeated practice, not once in lifetime practice. Do you do anything once in life? No. You repeat million times the same thing, like breathing. If you took breath at the birth, and if it is one-time practice, then you don't have to breathe again. But we breathe again and again and again, always. Metta practice is like that. When you read the Metta, as I mentioned yesterday, Metta discourse, every word in that discourse is a result of repeated practice. And then develop it. Develop means, again, that's called Bhavana. Bhavana means, develop means cultivating. When you want to cultivate a land, you have to clear the land, remove all weeds, rocks, and all unnecessary things, and till it, fertilize it, and put seeds. Plant your plants. Similarly, when we practice meditation, as we mentioned at the beginning, you got to get rid of some of your impurities which are already in the mind. And then it becomes easy for you to continue the practice. That's the second step. This is called progressive steps. Then make much out of it. Make much out of it. That is called Bahulikata. Not single time or single practice, but multiple practice. That means metta practice has to be done in a multiple different ways. If one way is not working, practice another way. For instance, yesterday I mentioned directional practice. That is one way. And spatial practice. That means you start from here and spread around you. Or you think that there are living beings without faces. Living beings without faces. If we put face to a being, then all other details will come into your mind. The size, appearance, height, color, words, and so forth and so on of the person come to your mind. So we have to avoid all of them in order to practice metta without any identity. So we have to accept more than one method, we have to know more than one method to practice metta, Bahulikata. Then make a vehicle of it. You know what we do in the vehicle? We get into it and move. So let the metta be our vehicle to ride on. That means we move, we walk, we sit, we eat, we perform all activities within metta. Metta is our domain, realm, vehicle. That's called yani kathani. Yana means, hina yana, mahayana and so forth. Big vehicle, small vehicle, yana. Let metta be your yana. Also jnana. Either you make it jnana or jnana. Both are equally important. Then make basis. Vattu kataya. Vattu means the property. Make metta your property. You become rich in your thinking. You become rich in your experience. Rich in your attitude. You are rich with friendliness. And therefore, it's a very powerful mental state. then experience it. Anuttitaya. Practicing metta must come from experience. When you experience the benefit of metta, you never want to give it up. I have many stories to tell you. Very practical, among many stories, tiny little stories. This idea will drive into your heart. In Washington Beltway, on the hillside, there was a house. In that house there was a man, old man. Every morning he comes out of his house and wave to people, good morning, have a nice day. Thousands of cars are moving in the Beltway. 8 lanes on one side. They go to work. Going round and round, thousands of people. And this man comes out of his house and says, good morning, have a nice day, good morning, have a nice day. So Dan Rather, who was a field man in CBS News, Walter Cronkite was the anchor man, Dan Rather was a field man. He went out, one day he saw this man saying this, good morning. So he went to him and said, sir, why do you want to do this? Nobody can see you, nobody can hear you, they're simply driving. This old man said, no sir, I know that. I know that nobody can hear me, nobody can see me, nobody pays any attention to me. But my heart is pure. I simply want to wish them good morning. With wholeheartedness I do it. And then I saw this in CBS News, that's what I know. Those days when I was in Washington, I used to watch CBS News. At least 100 million Americans and people all over the world must be watching CBS News. This message went to more than 100 million people. After several years, this man passed away. Dan Rather reported this again. He replayed the previous record and said, this man passed away today. That message also went around the world. More than 100 million. I happen to be one of those 100 million people. Therefore, friends, when you do something, even very tiny little good thing, good thought, good action, good word, to make somebody happy, somebody peaceful, do it again and again. Never stop it. Buddha said, Punyanje Puriso Kaira, Kairathenam Punam Punam, Tammi Chandam Kairata, Sukho Punyasa Uchayo. When you do something wholesome, do it again and again and again. Don't give up. Even somebody criticize. When you practice metta, sometimes people can say, you are sissy. Let them say so. But you know in your heart that you are doing very, very wonderful thing. And therefore, experience it, you do it from your experience. Because every time you practice metta, you are the ones who experience the benefit. Other people don't know. Although you wish them to be peaceful and happy, they may not become peaceful and happy by your wishing. but in your heart you have peace, you are happy. And that is why the Buddha said, experience it and then express. When you practice metta, you experience it, the many benefits. Then practice, make it a habit. You know, we do various things habitually. We brush our teeth habitually. We take shower habitually. We go to swimming, go picnic habitually. We go for walk habitually. We have all kind of habits. Most of them are not good habits. So Buddha said, make metta a habit, practice as a habit. Get up in the morning, as a habit you say, may all beings be well, happy and peaceful. Whenever you remember any time to practice metta, may all beings be well, happy and peaceful. Go to bed thinking, may all beings be well, happy. As any time you wake up in the night to go to bathroom or so forth, say, may all beings be happy and peaceful. So make it a habit, habitual practice. And then undertake well. Susamaradha. That means we will start the practice correctly. What is the correct way? Remember those 15 steps I mentioned yesterday? 15 qualities, qualifications. Those are the things we have to cultivate within ourselves. And then metta practice becomes very, very effective. For instance, in one of those things, not to be rigid, uptight. Just imagine when you are rigid, uptight, can you practice metta? You come home from your work, you are very, very tired. And you are very nervous, having a nervous headache, anxiety, and a lot of things happen in the office. Your boss happened to be a very mean person. He is called at you, he did not give you a promotion. Something like that. You come home very grinding your teeth. Can you practice metta? To the boss at that time? No, you feel like killing him. So, undertake the practice properly, correctly. Learn to relax. Learn to relax. If you practice meditation, practice 1 minute meditation every hour, in the evening you don't have a nervous headache, tension and so forth. Learn something to relax, not be uptight, and then practice metta. It is very effective. These are the progressive 8 steps of practice metta. Let me repeat if you want to remember them. First is repeat. Second is develop it, like as a meditation practice. Third is make much of it, not 1 or 2 practice. And then fourth is make a vehicle out of it, vehicle of metta. Fifth is make a basis, foundation of it. Sixth is experience it by doing it again and again. Seventh is practice or make it a habit. Eighth is undertake it well. So, now when you practice metta, you have ways of cordiality. That create love within you. Create love within you. That means you will be loved by others. Piya karana. Piya karana, that means when you practice metta, other people, other living beings feel your metta, feel around you metta vibration. Metta vibration. Then garukarana. Those who are normal, they respect you for practicing metta. They don't despise you, look down upon you for practicing metta. Then it is conducive to cohesion. Your activities, thoughts, words, deeds, and all these have cohesion, agreement. Then it conduces to non-dispute. Who can dispute with you when you practice metta? That is why the Buddha said many times, I don't fight with the world, but the world fights with me. Buddha was full of metta, and therefore he did not fight with anybody. But those who do not practice metta fight with the Buddha. So therefore it conduces to not dispute. Then conduces to concord, harmony. When you practice metta, it makes your life, your work, association with people harmonious. Then conduces to unity. When everybody is practicing metta, how can there be any dispute? When I say this, I remember another story. There's a discourse in Madhyama Nikaya called Chula Gosena Sutta. There were 3 monks, Anuruddha, Bhadya, and Kimbala. They were living in a forest. So, Gosena forest. So one day Buddha visited them and then asked these monks, he addressed Venerable Anuruddha, Anuruddha, are you living in friendliness like milk and water? You know, milk and water so can mix very easily. And looking at each other with friendly eyes, Priya Chakuna, with pleasant eyes you look at each other. Venerable Anuruddha said, yes, Venerable Sir, we always think how fortunate we are to have this kind of friends to live together. When we go on Pindapata, when one returns earlier, he would arrange seats, clean the place, arrange seats, brings drinking water and arrange the places to wash his feet and clean his dry his feet and to sit down and eat. And when the others come back, this one who comes first after eating, if they come without much food, ask them to eat what is left over. If they want to eat, they will eat, otherwise they will throw it away into a place where there is no insects and so forth. And when I have to do something, I postpone it and help them to do their things. Like that we all work together in friendliness. It's long discourse. Buddha said sadhu, sadhu 30 times. Each time whenever Anuruddha said how they were living harmoniously, what they do to promote harmony, Buddha said sadhu, sadhu. And then everybody in Kosambi area, in what you call that area is Vajin's area, everybody were very happy to have these 3 monks in that area. It is said that all deities around that area were happy. The deities in the 6 divine realms were happy. Up to Brahma realms, they were happy to see these 3 monks living together in friendliness, working together in friendliness without any disharmony, disunity. So, it is conducive to unity, harmony. And then we have to practice metta bodily in physical activities, maintaining bodily activity of living friendliness, both in public and in private, towards the companions with whom we are living. It is possible for people to be friendly to the person's face in front, publicly. In private, he said, I hate this person. I cannot see him. But in public, I say, very good, nice, good friend, how are you? This and that. That is actually a hypocrisy. So metta is not working in that way. It has to be honest. Maintaining verbal act of loving friendliness, both in public as well as in private. Maintaining mental acts, both in public as well as in private. Then, if possible, if we get something very precious, share it with others. Most of the time when we get something very precious, maybe something that we can share, like food, ideas, knowledge of Dhamma, we must share that out of friendliness. Then think of other people in a friendly way so that their living together will become harmonious, peaceful and happy. Metta practice is one of the wholesome karma. Metta practice is one of the wholesome karmas. Because when the mind is full of metta, you cannot have hatred, jealousy in your mind. it is very easy for you to let go of anger, let go of jealousy. Moreover, when we practice metta, all other three Brahma Viharas also we practice. If you read the Buddha's discourses, when he talks about metta, he talks about karuna, mudita and upekha. All these four come together, they all come as one package. So, when you practice metta, you are definitely compassionate. When you practice metta, you are definitely appreciating what others have. That is just the opposite of jealousy. You cannot be jealous of others' success, achievements, and so forth. And then, if others have differences with you, disagreement with you, you remain equanimous. So, when we practice metta, you practice other three sublime states. This is called Brahma Vihara. Brahma Vihara, these four together, loving friendliness, compassion, appreciative joy and equanimity, these four are called Brahma Vihara. Brahma is the highest among deities, highest, the noblest, purest being. But here Brahma Vihara means the best living, most wholesome living in thoughts, words and deeds, or the best behavior is called Brahma Vihara. One of them, the first one is metta. So, when we practice other meditation subjects like Bojjhanga, factors of enlightenment. Factors of enlightenment, Buddha said, is based on loving friendliness. Liberation of the mind by loving friendliness. When you try to practice mindfulness, factor of enlightenment, among 7 factors of enlightenment, number 1 is mindfulness, number 2 is investigation, number 3 is effort, number 4 is tranquility, number 5 is mindfulness, what you call Dhamma, Sati, Dhamma Vicaya, Virya, effort, then joy, then tranquility, concentration and equanimity. These are the 7 factors of enlightenment. We can practice, the practice of these factors of enlightenment become very easy if we practice metta. Because, as I mentioned, that is the foundation of both tranquility and insight. 7 factors of enlightenment are the practice of insight and also tranquility. Both can become easy when we practice mindfulness, what you call metta practice. And there are also some misunderstanding of metta practice. In the metta the benefit of metta practice, Buddha mentioned in that particular discourse that there are 11 benefits. What are the 11 benefits of metta practice? One can sleep well. When one sleeps well, one gets up well. That means when one gets up in the morning, he won't be grumpy, grouchy, and all kind of hangovers. Then in between getting up and sleep and getting up, one will not have nightmares, bad dreams. Whatever dreams they may have is a very pleasant sort of premonistic dreams. And the person who practices metta is pleasing to human beings. Somebody who is always angry, we all know, when somebody is always angry, his face looks very unpleasant. And his vibe will be unpleasant. When you practice metta, you must have seen you are pleasant to other human beings. And you are pleasant to non-human beings. Who are the non-human beings? Animals, some spirits. They love one who practices metta. And they are protected by deities. Metta practitioners are protected by deities. And then they will not be affected by fire, poison and weapon. Now this is the factor that has been misunderstood. People think if you practice metta, this is a very superficial understanding, not real understanding of this benefit. Not affected by fire, poison and weapon. Do you think that if somebody, while you are sitting and meditating, somebody slowly comes behind and set fire to your cushion, you don't know. Don't you think you will not burn? Do you think you will not burn? Definitely you will be burned. As I mentioned yesterday that 500 ladies who are practicing metta, headed by Samavati, they all were killed. What it means is that fire, poison, weapon are your mental state. There is a discourse, Aditya Pariyaya Sutta, we read in our Vandana book. That means Buddha said, because eyes are on fire, ears are on fire, nose is on fire, tongue is on fire, body is on fire, mind is on fire. Fire of what? Fire of greed, fire of hatred, fire of delusion. 11 fires. Greed, raga, dosha, moha. Then jati, jara, marana, soka, paradev, dukkha, domana, supayasa. These are the 11 fires. Birth, decay, death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief and despair. Plus greed, hatred and delusion. These are the 11 fires. We are burned with these 11 fires. Out of them, the most conspicuous is greed, hatred and delusion. We are burned with this. When we practice metta, fire of anger will not affect us. Fire of greed does not affect us. Fire of delusion will not affect us. Because the mind is so calm, peaceful, no anger can affect us, can burn us. Therefore, I want to clarify this misunderstanding that sometimes I have heard people say, somebody came with a gun and, pulled the trigger, a bullet went somewhere. It doesn't happen. If somebody comes behind and even to the face, somebody pull the trigger, he will die. So, fire, poison, weapon, both these three words are used for our three unwholesome mental states: greed, hatred and delusion. Poison, raga visa, dosa visa, moha visa. Raga aggi, dosa aggi, moha aggi. Raga satta, dosa satta, moha satta. Satta means weapon. So these three words are used for greed, hatred and delusion when you practice metta. So, among 11 benefits, this is the benefit that people have misunderstood. And then, when one tries to meditate, one gains concentration very easily. You don't have to struggle to gain concentration. And the facial expression of the person becomes generally very pleasing. Above all, when one dies, one will not die with confusion. One will die with clear, pure, peaceful state. Remember, friends, if we die in confusion, not only that moment we are unhappy, but we will be reborn in a very confused state. The mind will not be very clear even in the next life. We will have a very confused thinking, talking, behaving, all kind of problem. And if we don't attain liberation, because metta practice itself can lead to gaining concentration, which we can use for developing mindfulness and attain liberation. If we do not attain liberation from suffering through the practice of metta, Brahmaloka upagovati, we will be reborn in highest realm of existence. If we do not attain liberation in this life and die without confusion, we will be reborn in the highest realm of existence. Therefore, metta practice is very important practice. Then I think I have to end this talk now. Perhaps tomorrow is Monday. In the morning, I like to give another talk in conclusion of the retreat. And during that time, you can ask me questions. During this retreat, we did not have any interviews, and therefore, I don't think tomorrow 1 hour is enough to answer all the questions. But at least I can answer some of the questions if you ask me tomorrow morning. With this, I will have to conclude this morning talk. See, thank you very much for your patient listening. Thank you.